Well, hello everyone, and thanks for joining me again today for another Bible study. I'm Garth Freeman, and this one is called The Covenants of the Old Testament. How covenants in the Bible affect legal and moral requirements for mankind. This is the second in a series of posts I'm working on regarding the law in the Christian Bible. My goal is to encourage thought and discussion, not to tell you how it is. This is a Bible study, and I encourage anyone who reads this or listens to the podcast to join the conversation. You can see my first post on Steemit under Christianity, the Law, and the Ten Commandments. What is a covenant? First off, I think it's important to define the term covenant, and since I don't have any particular authority, I'm going to borrow from Easton's Bible Dictionary, which is public domain. Covenant is a contract or agreement between two parties. In the Old Testament, the Hebrew word berith is always thus translated. Berith is derived from a root which means to cut, and hence a covenant is a cutting, with reference to the cutting or dividing of animals into two parts, and the contracting parties passing between them in making a covenant. Examples: Genesis 15, Jeremiah 34, 18, and 19. Now, I think it's important to point out that it's an agreement between two parties. These days, we are held to a legal standard we didn't agree to. They existed before we were born for the most part. In the Bible, it's not really like that. In the Bible, either God promises to do something unconditionally, or he enters into an agreement with people. Not all covenants are made in the same way in the Bible, but they have several similar characteristics that I will list three here. First, the terms of the covenant. This is like a modern contract where one party agrees to do one thing and the other agrees to do another. Second, sign of the covenant. This is a demonstration of intent to keep the terms of the covenant. It can be either physical or an action. Blessings or curses. This is the answer to what happens if I don't. In the Bible, there's usually blessings for following through and curses for not following through. Now, I'm going to list some of the major covenants in the Bible. The Bible has many covenants in it, some between men and God, some between men and other men. For the purposes of our discussion here, I think there are four main covenants that affect our understanding of the law. Let's look at them in chronological order. First, the Noahic covenant. The first covenant we will discuss happens right after the global flood that wiped out all life on earth, except the lives inside the ark built by Noah. Here it is from the King James. And God blessed Noah and his sons, and said unto them, Be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you. Even as the green herb have I given you all things, but flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it, and at the hand of man. At the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God made he man. In you be ye fruitful, and multiply. Bring forth abundantly in the earth, and multiply therein. And God spake unto Noah and to his sons with him, saying, And I, behold, I establish my covenant with you, and with your seed after you, and with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl, of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark to every beast of the earth. And I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood, neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth. And God said, This is the token of the covenant, which I make between me and you, and every living creature that is with you, for perpetual generations. I do set my bow in the cloud, And it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and you. And it shall come to pass, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you, and every living creature of all flesh. And the water shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, This is the token of the covenant, which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. Here we see the components of the covenants. First, the terms. God promises not to wipe out all life on earth ever again. He tells man not to kill one another and authorizes meat eating. Next, the sign. The sign of the covenant is the rainbow, which appears everywhere on earth when conditions are right. And lastly, the blessings and curses. Blessing is that God will never again destroy humanity, though we might deserve it. And the curse is that if man kills man, by man shall his blood be shed. In the Bible, all the earth was repopulated by Noah and his family, so this covenant is applicable to all humans. This covenant, as I understand it, is one of the times God just promises something and doesn't require input from the other party. Really, though, what was Noah going to say? He was hardly in a position to argue, considering what he had just lived through. Next is the Abrahamic covenant. This one can be understood to be multiple different covenants, or as a single covenant that was recorded and or revealed in segments. I would lean towards the latter understanding, but it really makes little difference to our current discussion. Except that I'm going to have to use more Bible quotations to get it all in here. The first part of the covenant is in Genesis chapter 12, verses 1 through 3. Quote, Now the Lord had said unto Abraham, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and I will make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. The actual covenant ceremony is recorded in Genesis chapter 15. Quote, After these things, the word of the Lord came unto Abraham in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abraham, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. And Abraham said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless? And the steward of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus. And Abraham said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir. And he brought him forth abroad, and said, Look now towards heaven, and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be. And he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness. And he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees, to give thee this land to inherit it. And he said, Lord God, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him, Take me an heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another, but the birds he divided not. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was gone down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. And afterwards shall they come out with great substance. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. And it came to pass that, when the sun went down, and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. In the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates, the Kenites and the Kenizzites and the Cadmonites, and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Rephaims and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Girgashites and the Jebusites. End quote. This is another covenant whereby God promises to do something and doesn't require anything from the other party. It's sometimes called unconditional. This is emphasized in that Abram was unable to walk between the divided animals, and God alone passed between them in the form of a burning lamp. The last part of the covenant I'd like to point out is recorded in Genesis chapter 17. For the sake of keeping the post from getting too long in the tooth, I'm limiting the quote. Please check out the entire chapter when you get a chance. It's important. For now, the sign of the covenant is given to Abraham in verses 10 and 11 of chapter 17 in Genesis. Quote, This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man-child among you shall be circumcised, and you shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt you and me. End quote. So again, we have terms. God promises to bless Abram with many descendants. He promises Abraham descendants, the land of Canaan, and he promises that through Abram, all the families of the world will be blessed. The sign of the covenant is circumcision. Abram was to teach his children to continue on in the practice of circumcision perpetually. And the blessings and curses, God promises to bless Abram, his offspring, and the rest of humanity. He also promises that he will bless those who bless Abram and curse those who curse Abram. Next is the Mosaic covenant. This covenant is probably the most complex, but don't worry, I'll be as brief as possible. I intend to revisit each one in separate posts. For now, I'm going to do a little verse clipping, but everything I'm using today is from Exodus. This one isn't unconditional, and the Bible takes its time setting it up. First, in Exodus 19, we see God setting the stage and the Israelite people agreeing to enter into the covenant. From Exodus 19, 4 through 8, quote, Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. For all the earth is mine, and ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and laid before their faces all these words which the Lord commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, All that the Lord hath spoken we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord. End quote. Here we see both parties agreeing to enter into contract. God wants to make sure the people take it seriously, so he sets the stage rather dramatically. You can read the rest of chapter 19 to see more. Next, in chapter 20, God gives the terms of the covenant, the 10 Commandments. I'm not going to cite them here, since most people are familiar with them, but to demonstrate that the 10 Commandments were the terms of the covenant, let's look at Exodus chapter 34, from 27 to 28. Quote, And the Lord said unto Moses, Write these words, for after the tenor of these words I have made a covenant with thee and with Israel. And he was there with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights. He did neither eat bread nor drink water. And he wrote upon the tablets the words of the covenant, the 10 Commandments. End quote. Now, for the sign, we turn to chapter 31, verse 13. Quote, Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily, my Sabbaths ye shall keep. For it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am the Lord that doth sanctify you. The blessings and curses are listed in Deuteronomy chapter 28, which I will summarize but encourage you to check out. But basically, if the Israelite people would obey God, He would make them a prosperous nation, which would be a blessing to all the world. If they didn't obey, God promises to deal very harshly with them. So, our three covenant components, the terms: God, as sovereign, promises to bless the people in various ways if they obey His commands. They will be a kingdom of priests for the rest of the world. In return, the people promise to do all that He has commanded. God's status as sovereign gives Him the right to define how the people should behave, and He gives them the 10 Commandments. The rest of the laws He gives them are derived from His authority over them as God. The sign of the covenant is observing the Sabbath. And the blessings and curses, God promises to protect them, preserve them, give them land, and make them a great nation, a kingdom of priests, if they obey. If they don't obey, He promises to punish them by removing His protection and allowing their enemies to overrun them. And finally is the Davidic covenant. The last covenant I'll discuss is the one God enters into with David. It is another unconditional covenant. Let's take a look in 2 Samuel chapter 7 from 8 to 16. Quote, "Now, therefore, so shalt thou say unto my servant David, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I took thee from the sheepcote, from following the sheep, to be ruler over my people, over Israel. And I was with thee whithersoever thou wentest, and have cut off all thine enemies out of thy sight, and have made thee a great name, like unto the name of the great men that are in the earth. Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel, and will plant them, that they may dwell in a place of their own, and move no more. Neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them any more, as beforetime. And since the time that I commanded judges to be over my people Israel, and have caused thee to rest from all thine enemies, also the Lord telleth thee that He will make thee an house. And when thy days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of thy bowels. And I will establish his kingdom. He shall build an house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. I will be his father, and he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men, and with the stripes of the children of men. But my mercy shall not depart away from him, as I took it away from Saul, whom I put away before thee. And thy house and thy kingdom shall be established forever before thee. Thy throne shall be established forever." Here we see all three elements of the covenant in one text. This covenant, however, is unique in that it lists only blessings, and the sign isn't specifically mentioned. It's another unconditional covenant as well. First, the terms. God promises to make David and his progeny a great dynasty. He promises to forgive their iniquities, albeit not without discipline. Further, God promises David that one of his descendants will establish a never-ending kingdom. The sign? To be sure, there is a lot of room for discussion on this one, but it is my understanding that the sign of the covenant is the life of the descendants themselves. God doesn't let the line die out, even when it looks like it might. The blessings and the curses? God promises to protect the people and continue to ensure the Davidic line is the ruling line over the people of Israel. I know this is a pretty lengthy post, but believe me, it's pretty summarized. The concepts here can be understood in various ways, but they are essential to understanding the message of the Bible. If this topic interests you, stick around. The next segment is going to be a discussion of each covenant and a discussion of how Jesus fulfilled them. Remember, he said in Matthew 5, from 17 to 18, quote, "Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass away, one jot or one tittle shall no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled." End quote. Thanks for following along. Please join the conversation by commenting, liking, sharing, and or following. You can find me on steamit.com at Garth Freeman, on minds.com, Garth Freeman again, and on YouTube at Garth Freeman. Links for the show notes can be found on steamit.com. Thank you very much for your time.